Right. So in today's class, we are going to learn about the file input and output operations. Normally, you have done the input and output operations using your printf and scanf functions. Isn't it or not? You have used the scanf function to read the data from the user, and you have used the printf statement to display the output on the output screen. But if you want to work with files where in the last class we already learned about the introduction part about files, like why we need to switch the files concept and what are all the operations we need to perform. So we have highlighted 4 operations. First thing is we need to create the file, and the second one is we need to open the file. How to open the file we learned in the last class, and after opening the file we need to perform your operations that we are going to learn in today's class. And the last step is once your work is done, we need to close that file using fclose or fclose all function, right? So once in among these one, the third step is to perform some operations on the file. And what sort of operations we can do? Like we can write data into the file or we can get the data from the file. So it is nothing but writing the data into the file and reading the data from the file. And to do that task, we need to use some input output functions. Those functions are called as file IO operations or file IO functions. Okay, so let us see those formatted input output statements in the file. Now, what is the use of those formatted input output statements? Remember, these input output statements, what we are going to learn now, these are used to perform operations on the file through C programming language. Right? So we are learning some functions and those functions belong to a C programming language, and using those functions we are performing the operations on the file. Now how to do that, all those things we'll be learning with the example also. Okay, so the first formatted input output function statement is our fprintf. You have learned printf, but what is fprintf we'll see. So the first one is fprintf. Now what is the use of this fprintf is fprintf will be used to write your data into your file. Whenever you want to write something into the file, normally printf is used to write your output on the output screen, which is a black screen. Do you remember? So if you want to write your output onto the screen, then we use printf function. But if you want to write something onto the file, then simply you need to add one more one more character f is to be added. Fprintf function is to be used whenever you are working with the files. Now, what is the syntax of this one? You need to tell on which file, and that can be done by specifying the file pointer, and you need to write down the format string and the variables, whatever data you want to write into the file. So normal printf is format string and variable, but if you want to write into the file, you need to use fprintf and you need to tell the file pointer also. About this file pointer, we already learned in the last class, right? So if you want to write into the file only a string called welcome directly, then you need to use fprintf, write down the file pointer. That means fp will be pointing to one file, and that file should be open in the right mode because we are going to write this data into that file. So directly the string has been given, so no need to specify the format, specifier and variable. Directly the data has been given. So welcome will be written into that file which is pointed by the file pointer fp. Okay, now or else you can have a variable which will be holding some value, and then that variable can be written into your file by writing the format specified as %s name. Now using fprintf, you can write a string, you can write a character, you can write an integer value. Any data can be written using your fprintf. Fprintf will help us to write any sort of data, right? So here as an example, I've taken only string, but you can write int value or float value or any character value, or you can write 2 or more values also. Make sure like you write, if you want to write integer value and character value both, then you need to write %d, %c, and then write down the integer variable name and character variable. That's it. So 2 values will be written into that file. Okay, let me show you a simple example here. You can check here. 2 header files are included. You already know what is the use of stdio.h. But what is this stdlib is? This is a standard library header file. Now the use of this one is it is used to work with your files. Now you are using fprintf, fscanf. These files, that means these functions are defined in stdlib header file. So you need to include this stdlib. Okay. Now I have included both the files, and in the main function I have taken uh, we have taken a file pointer, and this we already learned in the last class. Always we need to create a pointer of the file of the type file structure, and it is defined in stdio.h, and I have opened a file. The file name is program.txt, and we need to open that one in the write mode because we want to use fprintf, where we are writing some data in that file. Okay. Now, if you are opening in the write mode, if this file is already existing, the data will be erased and the new data will be written. If it is not existing, new file will be created automatically. Now, if because of some internal problems, if it is not able to create that file, then the value that will be written is null. So in that case, we will be printing that value, and I am writing an exit. What is the use of this exit is because it is not able to open that file. No, I don't want to execute the remaining statement. Simply, I want to exit from this program. Now, this exit is also available in our stdlib header file. Okay, now we are asking the user to enter one number, and that number I want to write into this file. So to accept the input from the user, we need to use a scanf statement. But to write this value, whatever we are getting from the user into the file, we need to use fprintf, and we need to use the syntax called fprintf, and we need to specify the format specifier %d and num. So once the data has been written, you need to close your file. These things we already learned. We already know once our work is done, we need to close the file. Okay. So let us run this program, execute this program, and let us check how we are getting this. Okay. Now what we need to do? First, we need to declare the header files. Okay. So I am declaring stdio and stdlib.h. Two header files are declared. Okay, and then I need to write my main method, and in the main method I need to create one file pointer. You already know what is the use of this one. Let us call that file pointer is f. Now f will be pointing to a file called f equal to, I need to open a file, and remember, whenever you are writing it requires two parameters, isn't it or not? The first parameter is the name of the file. Second one is the mode of operation with what you want to do. We want to write into the file, so we are giving the mode as W. Now, whenever you are writing any file name, make sure you need to give the complete path if you want to create a file at particular location, or else if you give directly like data.txt, let us consider. Then data.txt, what happens? This data.txt should be available in the same folder where you are saving your C program. Normally, our C programs will be stored in our C drive, Turbo C, and in the bin folder. Isn't it or not? I'll show you that. Let me show that. See here in C, I am opening this C drive, and in the C drive, my folder is Turbo C3, and in the bin folder, your data will be created. Normally, I have this data. Let me erase this one. Okay, now data file is not available. Whenever you write like this data.txt, then what happens? It will create a file in the same folder where your C program will be available. So now this data.txt will be created in our same folder. I am not giving the complete. Now, as the file is not available, we have already deleted the existing thing. Now, what happens? This data.txt will be automatically created if it is not existing when you are opening the right. Now, what I want to do, I want to ask the user to enter one number, printf, enter a number. I am asking the user to enter one number. Okay, and I want to store that number in a variable called n for our understanding. Okay, now I think we need to declare this n. Just asking the user the value, and then I want to write this n value into my file. Now, how to write? We need to use, observe carefully all of you, printf function, and their first parameter is your file pointer. What is our file pointer? F. So we need to write f as our first parameter. Next one is our format specifier. What is our format specifier? %d. And then what is our next thing? We need to write what is the variable name? F. So this statement will write this n into this f file that is pointed by for data.txt. So in data.txt, n value will be written. Now after doing your work, we need to close our file. F close f. We need to specify that one. That's it. Our program is done. Okay. So let me minimize this first. You can see here no data.txt is available. Okay, no data.txt is available. Only these 4 files are there with the D. Now let us compile our program. No errors are there. Let us run our program. It is asking us to enter a number, and you can see here data.txt is already created. Right? Now let me give one value of 50. Now if I give 50 and click enter, this 50 will be written into this data.txt. See here. Has been written. So this is how the data can be written. Suppose if this data is already available, and this file is already available, and if you compile once again, and if you run again, it is asking again a number. Let me give 100 value. Then what happens? This old data will be erased and a new data will be overwritten. This is what we learned in the last class about while learning the modes of operation. Isn't it or not? So this is how your fprintf function can be used to write your data into the file. Are you clear, all of you? How we are writing the data into the file through our C programming language, right? So this is your first input, formatted input function. And then the second one is your fscanf. Now, what is the use of this fscanf is normally we use scanf to read the data from the user. But if you want to get the data from the file, then you can use this fscanf function. Okay, so the syntax will be like this. You need to specify the file pointer, that means from which file you want to get the data, that means read the data, and you need to specify the format specifier and the variable into which the data has to be stored. So you can see here an example. From the file pointer, the data will be copied into n. The data will be of integer type only. So we want to store that one in n. And observe here I have used ampersand. Why? Because we are storing into the n. But in fprintf, we are writing from the end, so no need to put the ampersand. Okay, so here the data that has been obtained from the file is stored in a variable called n. So let us see that one also. And if you want to read more data, then we can take care of the format specifiers like first value integer and second value is character. Let us consider. Then you can write %d, %c, and write down the two variables separated by the comma. Okay, if there is a mismatch in the format specifiers, it will not retrieve any data, or sometimes it will retrieve the wrong data also. So make sure like the way you are using the format specifiers, like if you are storing a character value and you are trying to read the %d format specifier, then you will be getting a wrong data. So you need to be more careful while using this. Okay, all of you. So this is how the scanf function will be used. Let us see a simple example here. What we are doing, I want to perform a read operation from the file. Then whenever you want to perform a read operation, we need to use a R symbol. Why? Because we are getting the data from the file, and similarly, it will return null if you are not able to open that file. That means if you are trying to open a non-existing file, then you will be getting a null value. And fscanf will retrieve the value and stored in num, and we are printing that value. Let us run our program, and so that it will be more clear to you all. Now here, what we are doing? We are opening our file. Data.txt is already existing. Let us try to open data1.txt, which is not there in our program, and we are trying to open that file in the read mode. Okay, so I want to check if f equal to null. What do you mean by that one? If f equal to null means I want to have an output saying like printf /n file not exist. I want to get an output like this, because if you are trying to get a non-existing file, if you want to read a non-existing file, then you need to write, check this condition. Only in case of read operation only. In write operation also you can do, but it will not reflect that much. But if it is not existing, we want to simply exit, or else if this condition is false, then it will not be executed. That's it. You can put else part here, or else you can directly write like this. Now what you need to do, you want to get the data from the file now. That means it is not null. You want to get the data from the file. How can you get that one? fscanf you need to use. You need to first specify the format specifier from which file you want to. You need to specify the file pointer from which file you want to get, and then you need to write a format specifier. Okay, and then you need to tell the variable into which you want to copy. So from the file, I want to get an integer value, and it has to be stored in n. Okay, and then number is, I want to print the value that I want to print that n value. How can we print ampersand n? That's it. So no need to have these things, because we don't want to read the value from the user. We want to get the value from the file, and we want to print the value whether it is successfully retrieved or not. Okay, observe here, we don't have data1.txt. From the earlier program, we have created only data.txt, which is holding a 100 value. But data1.txt is not available. So let us check what output we will be getting here. So we are getting an output saying like file not exist. Why? Because data1.txt is not available with us. So let us try to write data.txt, because in the earlier program we already created data.txt, which is holding a 100 value. Okay. So let us run this program and check the output. You are getting number equal to -1. What is the reason behind this? Okay, I have written ampersand here. This is not ampersand here, it is n. Okay. So let us check the output. You'll be getting number equal to 100. I think I have not written n here. Okay. Now you can check here. I am getting 100 here. What do you mean by 100 here? This 100 is stored in n that has been retrieved from our file using fscanf function. Are you clear, all of you, how you are getting this one? This is how fscanf can be used to get the data from the file. Understood, all of you? fprintf and fscanf. So this is the way how fprintf and fscanf can be used. fprintf is used to write the data into the file, which we have done using fprintf, and fscanf is used to get the data from the file. And after doing all the functions, you need to close your files because your work is done. You need to close your file. Okay, are you all clear with these two functions? So this is about fprintf and fscanf functions, which are called as formatted input-output functions. These are not only the two functions we have the other functions also. We'll see that.